Good evening and welcome to the channel's studios here in London with your international news around the world in 5.
Israel's military has continued strikes on Iran after they killed the Revolutionary Guard chief Hossein Salami and other commanders overnight. Israel launched a massive attack on Iran, assassinating senior Iranian military leaders and 6 nuclear scientists. Iran fired about 100 drones towards its territory in retaliation, many of which were intercepted. The US President Donald Trump has urged Iran to make a deal on its nuclear program, warning of even more brutal Israeli attacks. Iran accused the US of supporting Israel's strikes.
Moments ago, Israel launched Operation Rising Lion, a targeted military operation to roll back the Iranian threat to Israel's very survival. This operation will continue for as many days as it takes to remove this threat. For decades, the tyrants of Tehran have brazenly, openly called for Israel's destruction. In recent months, Iran has taken steps that it has never taken before, steps to weaponize this enriched uranium. And if not stopped, Iran could produce a nuclear weapon in a very short time. It could be a year, it could be within a few months, less than a year.
The black box from the Air India plane, which crashed shortly after takeoff in Ahmedabad, killing 241 people, has been recovered. It is not yet clear what caused the crash, which Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi, here seen visiting relatives of the dead, described as heartbreaking beyond words. Remarkably, there was one survivor. Vishwash Kumar Ramesh, a British man who was sitting in seat 11A, here walking away from the crash. Air India and the Indian government are looking into several aspects of what may have caused the plane to come down. This includes potential issues with the jet's engine thrust, its flaps, and why the landing gear remained open.
For some reason, enough lift wasn't being generated to keep the aircraft climbing. That's usually associated with not enough thrust for some reason or another. But more than stating that would be to get into the realms of speculation.
Images and news from India is absolutely devastating, and I speak for the entire country in saying our thoughts are with each and every one of those involved. There will be British and Indian families across the land who are absolutely impacted by this, and our thoughts first and foremost are with them. Obviously the investigation is going on. We've dispatched an investigation team that's been deployed. The Foreign Secretary is leading on this, and we'll obviously update as soon as we can.
Spanish Prime Minister Pedro Sanchez has apologised to the Spanish people after an escalating corruption scandal which brought down a senior Socialist Party colleague. Sanchez, who has led Spain since 2018, said there was no such thing as zero corruption, and he sought to distance himself from the affair, ruling out early elections. Santos Cerdán has been asked to testify in court after a judge suggested he may have acted with former party officials in improperly awarding public contracts in exchange for kickbacks. North Korea says it has successfully relaunched its new 5,000-ton naval destroyer less than a month after it capsized during the first attempt. The country's leader, Kim Jong-un, had reacted furiously to the warship's failed launch in May and demanded it be quickly repaired. At least 4 officials, 3 shipyard officials and 1 senior official have since been arrested over the incident. State media says the ship has now been fully restored.
We are staying here to liberate this city from the socialist and the burdensome leadership that this governor and that this...
And a Democratic US senator has been forcibly removed from a news conference held by Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem in Los Angeles and placed in handcuffs.
That has been able to do this. Also, I want to talk specifically...
Noem was giving an update on immigration enforcement after nearly a week of protests in the city when Senator Alex Padilla interrupted and started shouting a question. Video of the incident shows the senator struggling with multiple Secret Service agents before being shoved out of the room and dragged away before uniformed FBI agents placed him on the ground and arrested him.
And that's your international news around the world in 5. Now back to the channel's studios in Lagos.